turn over to the CW30 at 7 a.m. to continue watching Good Morning Utah.
Caesar, thank you. Time now for news around the world. In Western Europe, countries are still recovering from massive and devastating flooding. In Germany, more than 160 people died in those floods, and the search continues for hundreds more victims. Communities across the region now face the long task of rebuilding smashed homes and damaged infrastructure like bridges and water systems. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's cabinet is expected to drop a package of immediate and extended financial aid to help rebuild. Prince Harry is writing what his publisher is calling an intimate and heartfelt memoir. The book is expected to come out late next year. Publisher Random House says it's the first time the prince offers his own definitive account of his life. He's expected to discuss all aspects of his life, including his service in Afghanistan and the joys he's found as a husband and father. That announcement comes 4 months after Harry and his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, made worldwide news during their interview with Oprah Winfrey. Canada slowly opening up its borders to fully vaccinated people. The country says fully vaccinated Americans will be allowed into Canada beginning August 9th. The rest of the world fully vaccinated can enter September 7th. A date for the U.S. to allow Canadians to cross the border on land has not been released yet, but Canadians can currently fly into the United States. That's your news around the world.
And in your business news, a rough day on Wall Street and potential hope for relief from high gas prices. Here's your Good Morning Utah business report.
A big drop for the Dow Monday, down more than 700 points. This amid mounting anxiety over the spread of the Delta coronavirus variant. It was the Dow's worst session since October. Shares of airlines dropped, supermarkets rose, similar to trading patterns that prevailed in the early days of the pandemic. And oil prices also falling Monday. Investors fearing the spread of the Delta COVID variant will stall travel and decrease demand for fuel. U.S. crude futures dropped 7.5% to $66.42 a barrel. The worst day since September, but the drop could be welcome news to consumers hoping for cheaper gas prices. Plus, U.S. homebuilder confidence in the market for single-family homes dropped this month to its lowest level since last summer. The NAB Wells Fargo Housing Market Index down a point to 80, driven by shortages of building supplies, lots, and skilled labor. The Prospective Buyers Index falling 6 points to 65. With rising prices and limited supply, fewer U.S. consumers believe that now is a good time to buy a home. And finally, Tiffany has settled an 8-year-old lawsuit over fake rings. The 184-year-old jewelry company accusing Costco of trademark infringement and counterfeiting for selling generic diamond engagement rings bearing the Tiffany name. Court papers showing about 3,300 customers bought those rings during the period covered by the lawsuit. Settlement terms were not disclosed. And that's your Good Morning Utah business report.
In southern Utah, church service ended abruptly when a naked man allegedly walked into a St. George chapel. According to charging documents, 40-year-old Jeremy David Miller parked his car on the lawn of that chapel, got out, stripped down, and then walked into the church. After causing quite the scene, he left. Police later found him at his St. George home. Miller now faces multiple charges because of a brief altercation with police at his home.
Imagine being in the congregation. All right, in Logan, a school counselor is in police custody, suspected of downloading thousands of images of child pornography. Logan police got a tip on Snapchat about 27-year-old Ivan Gabe Cardona. The tip claimed he'd been sharing child porn. Police searched his apartment and say they found 16,000 pornographic images on his phone. He faces 20 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor and 5 counts of possession of a firearm by a restricted person, among other charges.
In southern Utah, a semi-truck tipped over on an I-15 off-ramp. This happened on the southbound Hurricane exit. That crash shut down the off-ramp for hours. Utah Highway Patrol says the 20-year-old driver was charged with speeding. Emergency crews also took him to the hospital with minor injuries. Happening today, the Utah National Guard says don't be alarmed if you hear some big construction noises through the day in Draper. They'll be doing some demolition training today through Friday from 7 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. They announced this on a Twitter post right here. They say they do expect blasting noises in the Draper area.
And in northern Utah, Snow Basin Ski Resort canceling some of their summer events. They're now scrapping most of the dates for Snow Basin's Blues, Brews, and Barbecue concert series. They're dealing with staff shortages. So according to the post on the resort's Facebook page, they don't have enough food and beverage staff. So they'll still hold that first night of the series on August 1st, but the remaining events through September 5th are now canceled. And low water levels at Lake Powell soon won't prevent people from launching their boats. The National Park Service has started rehabilitating the State Line Auxiliary Boat Ramp there at Lake Powell. They say it'll provide boaters access to the south part of Lake Powell during the low water levels. Until it's finished, the State Line launch ramp is closed to the public. To find out when it's done, though, the park recommends boaters check their website for the ramp status before you head to the lake.
A moose on the loose was caught on camera in Summit County. The Summit County Sheriff's Office posted these photos. Look at this little guy. Sheriffs helped the DWR relocate the animal yesterday. Summit County says this is very likely a young moose who's made its way kind of accidentally into a residential area. The little guy was not hurt in the process of getting back to its home. Guys, I think I saw this moose's older brother yesterday. So I have some friends in town. We drove the Alpine Loop, stunning even in the summer, and we saw a massive moose, like a big fully grown one.
You mean like antlers and the whole
Antlers,
thing?
the whole 9 yards.
Did you see a flying squirrel with it? Because if not, I don't know if I want to know that moose now.
I didn't see a flying squirrel, but they're smaller. It might have been there.
Okay.
What do they always say at the end of that episode? I can't remember. It's been a long time.
It's been way too long to remember.
Rocky and Bullwinkle. What a throwback that is.
I know, right? I used to watch it like late night boomerang when I shouldn't be up, and that's what it was going on. So loved it. And, one thing that they would love to see is probably some rain also, right? So far right now, outside the Doterra Salt Lake City downtown camera, just seeing clouds right now. So far, this denotes that we have moisture in the atmosphere. So if you step outside, you'll definitely feel that we have moister air, and it feels a little bit muggy out there, especially given the fact that we are still somewhat warm and mild. You can see the cloud cover still funneling in from the south. Again, that's monsoonal moisture for you. Also, current dew points. Oof. You don't see those dew points normally around in parts of Utah, upper 50s, 60s. That's definitely going to denote some possible storm activity for later on this afternoon once we get that storm. Just basically the sun to really help us lift our air and create those possible storm chances. We're going to still be warm in Salt Lake City, 96 degrees, 100 in St. George, so it is going to be still a very July-like day for us. Looking at traffic also, we're seeing that we have a few areas that do have some incidents. Most of these are just small minor accidents, not causing much in the way of any slowdowns for us. So that is something that we can continue to see with smooth sailing conditions for us here in Provo, right around 37 minutes normal drive times for us. And if you want to make sure that you're able to keep up to date with all of the weather happenings, be sure to download the Pinpoint Weather app on your smart device using the QR codes on the screen or through your app store.
Will do. Thank you, Caesar. It's baby birthday time, and today is my sister Jen's birthday.
Yes, so cute.
Yeah, look at this throwback photo. This is my mom calls it her dance photo.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
I love that she's like posed with the black backdrop.
right.
It's so dramatic.
She already knew.
This is ballet.
Yes.
This is big time. You bet.
Yes.
So I would say my sister is good at anything she does.
Aww.
In fact, that led to a lot of competition with me and Jen growing up. Like, I play the piano because she plays the piano.
Okay. Is she older than you or younger than you?
She's younger than me.
Okay. And she will make sure you remember that.
Right, that's true, that's true. I will always be the old man, that's for sure. But she's great. She's starting her new year as the principal at Olympus High School coming up this year. So she's
Congratulations, Jen.
Congratulations,
that's a big deal.
and happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, of course, to my sister Jen. We love you. And of course, if you want to share your birthdays with us, email your photos to news@abc4.com and put in the subject line, baby birthday.
Happy birthday, Jen. Okay, let's talk about space. It's a big day for a tiny West Texas town. This
huge.
morning's Blue Origin launch into space, putting Van Horn, Texas on the map. So for years, Van Horn's been known for its farming, ranching, and even some mining. It's pretty close to Big Bend National Park if you're a national parks person. Now it's the spaceport for Bezos' exploration company. So that launch scheduled for 7 this morning in just a few minutes. So here's a live look at the launch site right now. Jeff Bezos and his 3 tourists to space are in there. They're right there. They're in there. They're in the capsule.
Do you think the T is like for the how much time we have left there? About 15 minutes or so before we actually launch?
Yeah,
Yep,
so
that looks like the
wild?
official countdown.
okay.
You get the one going up, and then when they actually start, it'll be counting down. So we'll have that for you on Utah CW30 for GMU at 7.
Coming right up. Switch over with us. We'll take you there live.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be worth the wait, that's for sure. You know,
Right.
I can't imagine, like, you've got the oldest person in space going up today,
The
youngest
youngest.
person in space going up today.
The first person who's paid for a ticket to space.
Right?
Right.
Your first tourist. I mean, you have a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
And it'll be an exciting chapter for space exploration.
Definitely.
Pretty
And,
cool.
and after all of that, if they wanted to, they could still go to Big Bend National Park and see Earth's natural beauties.
Maybe they'll go this afternoon. They'll
Right?
be back
Sure.
pretty soon.
Just make it a full day right there. All right. See that coming up right after this. Of course, thanks for making us part of your morning.